As we are only a couple of weeks out from beginning our school year, I wanted to show you what our planned read alouds are for our secular homeschool over the course of this year. Hi, my name is Becky and I am the mom of 4. I have 2 older sons who are in high school and have been publicly schooled the whole way, but I have twin 5.5, almost 6-year-old daughters who are going to be first graders here in just a couple weeks. And I want to share with you the read alouds that we have chosen for this upcoming school year. Those of you who saw my curriculum picks for the school year know that we are going to be doing 2 history streams. We're going to be doing History Quest, Ancient Times, and we are supplementing that with Build Your Library, which is a whole curriculum, and we're really just using the history and a little bit of the literature components of that. And then we are also going to be having a smaller stream, which is the American Girls History from Little School of Smiths. I will link the video so you can watch it. However, I want to show you the read alouds for that, with the caveat that I'm not including the American Girl books because it's just the books of the American Girl series that you can find, and they're going to be read alouds, but we're using them as the textbook. We're using them as the spine, so I'm not including those. These are just going to be the free reads or the afternoon reads that we are doing that may have some copy work, some questions, some discussion, narration attached to them, but they aren't the spine of the curriculum. All right, with that in mind, let me show you our read alouds in no particular order. So the first is the 2 parts of the Odyssey, Tales of the Odyssey Part 1 and Tales of the Odyssey Part 2 by Mary Pope Osborne. She is the author of The Magic Treehouse, and we love The Magic Treehouse so much that I did decide to use these. These are the ones suggested by Build Your Library as well, so I'm excited to be able to use her discussion questions and guides and narrations. But we were going to use a different copy of the Odyssey. We decided to go with these because we just love Mary Pope Osborne. So this is going to be one of our read alouds, and it's 2 separate books. She does a really good job of covering the whole Odyssey in 2 separate books, but we're going to read them back to back. All right, our next book is Roman Diary, The Journal of Ileona, Young Slave by Richard Platt and illustrated by David Perkins. This is a Build Your Library recommendation. Then we have Poppy by Avi. This is also a Build Your Library recommendation. Then we have Pollyanna by Eleanor H. Porter. I have actually never read Pollyanna, but I watched the movie as a kid and loved it. And so we are substituting this out for one of the Build Your Library recommendations. I don't remember which one it is, but I want to read it. I think this is a nice age to read such a classic, and we'll enjoy it. We're also subbing in Understood Betsy by Dorothy Canfield Fisher. This is a favorite amongst the Ambleside Online and Charlotte Mason homeschool families. I've never read it. It was not one that was in my world before I got into homeschooling, but I've heard it's one not to be missed. And it is recommended for grade 1, I believe, in Ambleside Online. So we are subbing this in. There is a book. Oh, we're not reading The Golden Bull, which is one of the Build Your Library recommendations. It just seemed that the themes were a bit mature for my not even 6-year-olds because they would be reading it before they turned 6. And it just seemed a little mature for them. So we're going to read this instead. We're also subbing in Boy of the Pyramids by Ruth Fosdick Jones. It is a mystery of ancient Egypt, and those of you who've been around the channel know that I picked this up before we decided on using Build Your Library. I picked this up as a read aloud for our ancient Egypt unit. Build Your Library recommends like the companion to Roman Diary. There's an Egypt Diary, but I could not find it at the used bookstores I go to, and finding it online, it was like $8 or $9, and I didn't feel like spending that when I already purchased this one. For when we get to our study unit on ancient India and Mohenjo-daro, we are going to be reading Ramayana, The Divine Loophole by Sanjay Patel, and you guys, holy moly, look at this. I thought it was going to be just a plain picture book, but this is actually quite a big, beefy story. And the print is actually pretty small, unfortunately, but yeah, I'm excited to read this. It is visually stunning. I was able to get this. This normally runs like $35 and I got it for $10. So I feel like this was a super win. But this will be our read aloud when we get to ancient India. Build Your Library's curriculum also includes a couple of picture book biographies, and I may add to this based on what I can find at our library, but the ones that I'm going to be using are The Librarian Who Measured the Earth by Catherine Lasky, and this is of Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. My ancient Greek is pretty rusty, but I've been wanting to read this for a while, and I think it will be super fun, and it's already included in the curriculum, which is nice. The other one is the go-to favorite, Cleopatra by Diane Stanley. I've seen so many homeschool moms recommend this one, and we've actually read parts of this already, and I'm pretty excited to read the whole thing. It is a little mature for my girls. Like, we did read through a little bit of this after listening to a podcast on Cleopatra and it talking about, you know, her dating Julius Caesar and then dating Mark Antony and like all these different things and having to marry her brother. And that's just like hard concepts for 6-year-olds to understand, but we're going to tackle them in an age-appropriate way, and we're excited to read this biography. The last of the scheduled read alouds that we have are a trilogy of picture books all about the Epic of Gilgamesh, and that is the Gilgamesh the King trilogy by Ludmila Zayman. This is the first one, Gilgamesh the King. The second one, The Revenge of Ishtar, and the final one, The Last Quest of Gilgamesh. I picked these up used, and I'm really excited to read this trilogy of picture books as our read aloud over the course of a week. I think this will be a really nice introduction to the Epic of Gilgamesh, and will be a really nice kind of break from some of the chapter books we'll have read before this point. There are two books that I don't currently own that are read alouds as well. I forgot to mention. The first one is Charlotte's Web. We will be reading Charlotte's Web. I had a copy and can't find it. So before I go buy a new one, I just want to double check my boys upstairs. And then the second one is Mulan Before the Sword, which we'll be reading for Ancient China. And I couldn't find it at any of our used bookstores. I'm going to check and see if we have it at the library. If not, we will either purchase it or use another one of Graceland's books. We love Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, and there are at least 2 others in that series, so we have lots of good options. Now, these are my scheduled read alouds, but that does not mean they will be our only read alouds. We, of course, have our American Girls, like I mentioned before. We'll be reading through those. We also will have our evening read alouds, which are always our fun ones. The girls want to go back and read through all of the Magic Treehouse. We only have 1 more left before we read the entire, like, 58 book series, which is just wild. We'll have read it all in 1 school year. So that's pretty fun. We're also looking at some other fun books for evening read alouds, like Upside Down Magic. My boys liked those way back when, and maybe even introducing some more mystery books if they like that, like the A to Z and Calendar Mystery series and things like that. I'm also looking at ways to maybe add in classics if we find that we're finishing the assigned read alouds early. We also have lots of collections of world myths that we'll be reading across the year and Native American folk tales, but this collection is the sort of literature-based reads that we are going to do. All of these are going to have some component of copywork and narration assigned to them, so these aren't just fun reads. These are going to be more academic fiction reads, I guess. Comment down below and let me know, do you have a list of read alouds? How do you decide? Do you use a curriculum to decide? Do you have some assigned and some that are choose as you see fit, as the mood strikes you? What would you recommend for first graders? My kids do really well with read alouds, actually. They've really enjoyed it. Now, we did try The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it was too tough for them. The cadence of speech is not how we speak or how books are written these days, and that was challenging. And there was a little bit of fear around some of the proposed violence, and I decided that we needed to wait on that one, knowing what happens to Aslan towards the end of the book. If you know, you know. So let me know, if you have recommendations that you've tried that are tried and true for your first grader. Let me know what you are reading for your read alouds, and how do you decide? Do you use a curriculum? Do you just have books you choose? How do you use your read alouds, your official read alouds, not just your fun reads? And do you have any particular recommendations that you think are great for 6-year-olds in first grade? It's always fun to have a running list of books to look out for, whether we're at the used bookstore or at the library. I hope you guys are doing well, savoring those last few days of summer, and until the next video, bye.